When I say that I bought a lot of yarn to try off of Temu, I mean a lot of yarn. Hello and welcome back to my channel. So I have this idea and I ran with it and ran with it and I ran pretty far. Um, I wanted to grab a bunch of yarn off of Temu and give it a shot because, sometimes there's good stuff off there. And, I expected some misfires and I expected some greatness, and it it took a while to get here. So I ordered some and got some like free gifts. So I put those as more yarn, and then I was like, "Ooh, I should place one more order." So I have a lot to share with you. So my thinking is, not only am I going to show you the yarn, I am going to show you what the Temu app says about the yarn, which oftentimes is not a lot. Mostly you can find like the fiber content in it, but the sizing or the yardage, it's questionable. And I have my nice little mug full of hooks. By the way, side note, is this not that cute? A Small World mug. This is from the Hallmark store. Got it for my birthday. Um, anyway, I have a variety of hook sizes. I have more hooks over here, so I want to give a shot and see like how it feels in your like as you're working with it. Um, I won't go too far into it, but I do want to see like how some of the stitch definition is, and just if any of this is a good option. Now, unfortunately, because I did a lot as like free gifts after spending $40, I can't tell you the prices because oftentimes they were zero, or they were discounted. So prices aside, I can at least show you screen grabs of what it looks like on there and kind of what to expect for some of this yarn, because a lot of this um, you see on there and it's by multiple sellers. And anyway, I'm just going off and on, I am just going on and on. Let's get started. I'm going to switch the camera so you can see it from top looking down. And I'm also going to put, as I am bringing it out and giving my first impressions, I'm going to put what I found on the Temu website so we can experience the store together. You ready? All right, we're going to start off with the smallest little bag that came, and it has this yarn in it. This is way prettier in person than I expected. All right, so this came in a 2-pack, and it says it's about 70 meters long. I think that's pretty accurate. Um, there's a lot of different colors, really pretty variegated. Actually, you know what? I actually am not thinking this is the color I ordered. I ordered strictly blue ones, but this has some purple in it. I'm not mad. I'm okay with that. But not quite the one I ordered. It does have a bit of a squish factor. Is it super, super soft? No, it's acrylic yarn. So, yeah, I mean, you can kind of expect it. There was some misinformation about, what size it is. I'm thinking it's probably like a 3-weight is what I would guess. But yeah, lots of variety, as you can see. So I'm going to dive in and let's see how this works out real quick. If I can find the end. This is always the fun thing with a donut. Okay, I'm kind of there. It is okay. I feel like the colors are pretty good. It's really saturated in some parts, very vibrant. yeah, I would definitely think that this is like a DK weight. So I'm gonna try, let's try a 5 millimeter maybe. Okay, we're gonna try it with a 5 millimeter. Zoom in a little bit here. Not gonna do too much, just maybe a few rows. This is working up. It's slightly splitty. This isn't really a splitty hook, but it is it's about how you would expect acrylic to feel. Let's see here. Not bad. I don't know what I paid for it because um, I just went crazy on the deals. And when you're doing stuff like that, it just kind of rolls into one. Finish this row here. Okay, so I only did 2 rows because I really just wanted a feel for it. It works up pretty much like an average acrylic, nothing fancy. It doesn't feel the best, but also I have definitely felt worse. The it looks okay. It's okay. I probably should size down on the hook, but it's not bad. And then as we frog it, frogs really nicely. All right. So would I buy this again? I think so. It's not bad yarn. However, I will say that it's claiming that there's 70 meters, but I feel like there's more in here than 70. But overall, it's not a bad purchase. I love a good variegated, and this would make some really pretty like granny squares, I think. All right, next up we have cashmere. Now cashmere from Temu. Are we expecting greatness? Again, no. It's so let's open her up. Oh, that's nice. So it actually says right here, 88% cashmere, 12% acrylic. So that's great. We don't have any other stats as far as yardage or anything like that on the bag. So let's open her up and check out what's inside. So I love how small they are, but they are pretty mighty. Lots of color options, as you can see here on the screen. 29 different colors, lots of, kind of anything you could want. Feel wise, is it cashmere? Cashmere? No, it doesn't feel that amazing. It doesn't feel bad, but it doesn't really feel like luxury. You can see here on the screen, somebody would say that it is kind of like a one weight, and I would have to agree with them. Definitely a one weight. Also, it is 350 yards, which for 6, so 6 times 350, you can do quite a lot there. So one thing I noticed that is like an inconsistency for sure. In the description, it says that this is 80% cashmere, 20% acrylic blend. But here it says it's 88% cashmere, 12% acrylic blend. So interesting difference. Feel wise, see, we are not going to get away from any yarn barf here. Oh, well, it is what it is. That's okay. You can see there is like the fibers, kind of the halo effect. I don't know how well you can see that here. There we go. There is some halo, so it's going to be very soft. Right, let's side note. Okay, before I do that, sitting like this and feeling it, definitely softer. So I think this would work up into a really pretty and soft garment. That was not my intention, but maybe I need to do that. All right, coming back to this, trying to get this little knot undone, and it's already kind of split, and you know what? That's fine. So, I mean, I guess that to me that says something about the makeup of it, because if it can, and it breaks apart, but there's not that snap. It's that halo-y. Absolutely lovely fibers. All right. I have a 3mm. I think a 3.5 would be better, but I don't really want to go hunt it down. I feel like this is one, especially with how easily that's split, that you will definitely want to be very careful as you are working with it so you don't break the yarn. But this is working out surprisingly well. It's not splitting at all. It is not, other than it's just tiny yarn, so it does take a little bit. Sorry if that was off camera. Do another row here. Woo. I'm having a hard time grabbing it. And that's not because I don't know how to work with fingering weight. I am working on a project currently with fingering weight. I think I'm just being super, super cautious because this is such a delicate fiber. Ooh. Oh my goodness. I feel like this dainty of a fiber is making me feel like a clumsy ox. It has nothing to do with the fabric or the yarn itself. That's just me. This yarn surprised me. It is really nice, actually. Is it as much cashmere as they're saying? I don't know. But especially because cashmere usually costs a lot, that's what makes me question this a lot more. But really nice, like stitch definition. Has that lovely halo. I don't know if you can see that. There you go, a little bit around there. Like I said, I felt like I had to be super, super delicate with it, and I definitely grabbed a size too small, but it worked up really nice. Let's do a little frogging test. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, oh, little snag there. Little snaggeroo. I've never said snaggeroo before, and hopefully I never will again. Okay. There's a little bit more give on that section, but I am, well, I was about to say pleasantly surprised on the frog factor. Oh my gosh, the frog factor. But then you get down to your chains and not so much. Now, would I buy this yarn again? Yeah, actually, I really would. I am very pleasantly surprised by this. I will have to look up some patterns and see what I can do with it. Interesting, dry in the shade. I think this would be a really gorgeous shawl. Super luxurious, gorgeous shawl. So I think that will be my game plan for it. It'd be a really soft, pretty sweater, a very light sweater. But with that thin yarn, you gotta really commit. All right, next up, actually have not opened this yet. So I am not sure what this one is. Oh, so for it to be a true test, I wanted to get as close to like a red heart, basic, acrylic that I could find, and I ended up with this guy. So we see here it is 100% acrylic. Not much else here other than the color is Autumn Fragrance Green. Now it says online that it is a 4-weight. Looking through the bag, I don't think it's a 4-weight. I love the name of this, Autumn Fragrance Green. Lots and lots of color options. 34, I believe I saw. Okay. I love the pictures that they have. All right, 385. Oh, on that side. 385 meters. And I do like that they have like a strand, you know, wrapping around kind of test. Again, with the measurements of this, I think that's so funny. Let's see here. Well, first thing I can say, that is a very, if that's worsted, that is a very, very light worsted. I do love this color, and the sheen on it is really pretty. This is a much softer acrylic than the first one was, than the variegated one was that came in the donuts. So let's break down here. So it says it's it's a 4-weight. I don't know if I believe that. So let's do a 5.5. Let's test it. So go ahead and make ourselves a slip knot, and let's go. All right, working up like an average acrylic. Nothing fancy, nothing horrible. I have definitely felt acrylic that is a lot less soft than this. And if I remember right, the price itself wasn't bad. I like that there was different colors, like there was a couple shades of green, couple shades of blue. So if you're looking for, again, as much as you can look for a particular shade online, you have the options here. This would be fun to get like a couple shades of one color and do a project with those. All right. Color me impressed. Wow. This is a really great acrylic that you can find on Temu. Honestly, I feel like this is a one up from Red Heart in like, well, it feels a lot like Red Heart. So again, it's not the softest acrylic, it's not the worst acrylic, but the sheen on this, the saturation is fantastic. I actually really, really like this yarn. And I am not normally one for this shade of green, but I am loving this shade of green. Okay. And I'm not expecting any awful things from this. Oh, a little snag. But just like regular acrylic, frogs really well. Okay, so note to self, would I buy this again? Yes, absolutely yes. However, I do have plenty of options in general for acrylic. So would I buy this acrylic over other acrylic? Maybe not, but definitely a good option. Temu is out here shocking me left and right. So let's see if this trend actually continues. I'm happy about that. All right, 5 skeins of baby alpaca. Let's open this up while we check out what's online. So it says that it's 95% acrylic yarn or alpaca yarn, 5% acrylic. Not as many color ooh, not bad. Not as many color options. Still like enough variety. I like the colors. They're a little moody-ish. I would definitely, I'm thinking I'm calling this a 4-weight or even a bulky. Yeah, 95.5. Oh, actually has like information on the tag or the, what's it called? The sleeve, which is nice. Oh, seriously. Haven't had something the other ones. So 164 yards. So 164 times 5. And it's telling me a 4 to 5 millimeter crochet hook. That's thicker than the last one. So I would actually, I'm thinking like a 5.5. Let's test the bad boy out. Ooh. Yeah, I would say that's even borderline bulky, honestly. That is okay. Well, and with the, did it say how many ounces? No, but with the yardage and all that, I would actually, yeah, I feel like this is more like a bulky weight, chunky. So we're actually going to size up on this guy. I'm going to try a 6. hook for this guy. I am loving this sage color. Oh, we have a knot already. That's unfortunate. Now, is this the softest alpaca? I will automatically say no, no, it is not. But it does feel like alpaca, just not like the soft alpaca, which I would assume you would feel from the baby alpaca. Oh yeah, this is very clearly a chunky yarn. This is not, or a bulky yarn. This is not worsted weight by any means. Yeah, I probably should have even used a 6.5 hook. But, you know, we're just making guesses here. Sorry if you hear the puppy in the background. We get piano students, my mother teaches, and little Aurora puppy heard them come in and is not well pleased that she is not out there, as she is a lovely distraction from lessons. Okay. And I believe that this is alpaca. I don't know if I believe 95% alpaca. It does impress me when it says 39,000 sold, so that's always a good indicator. All right, did a row of half doubles. Let's do, oh my gosh. Okay, well, I like, of all of them, I feel like this one and the last one are working up the easiest. Going into this last little stitch here. All right, so yeah, I definitely should have sized up at least half a size on the hook, but this is nice, chunky, bulky weight. This is definitely a 5 weight, not a 4 weight. Really nice though. I am very impressed. Again, is this the softest yarn? No, this is not alpaca yarn like you would think. Oh, alpaca is super, super soft. It is not super soft. Let's do a little back up here and see how she frogs. Like a dream. Literally just like a dream. Oh my gosh. But oh, except for that little knot. All right. I am still being very pleasantly surprised. Temu, thank you for, raising expectations. Is this yarn I'd buy again? Personally, no, just because I don't do a lot with this weight of yarn, and I feel like I could get softer yarn. It's not the softest yarn, but it is really great. You saw how well it worked up, how well it frogged. I don't dislike this yarn. I personally wouldn't order it again. But yeah, this will definitely be a really great, like, chunky cowl, or borrowing from Bag O' Day, having it against my skin. I don't know if I would necessarily call it scarfable. I love her description for that. Not really a description I would use. As I just said, I'm going to make a scarf with it, right? But I feel like, I don't know. This is great hat yarn. If you want to make some really cute hats, I think this would be a good option for this. This one is the Booger Bog. There's quite a few skeins in this. So we're just going to grab a few and go to town. So this is also alpaca yarn, different brand, 95% alpaca, 5% acrylic. Really interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 skeins came with this as well. They have more, I don't know, warm colors. I feel like just more, cozy colors. Is that a description? This feels about the same as the last acrylic, slightly softer actually. I thought this was pretty because it is not just green. There's green and then there's like blue in the background. I won't lie, on screen I thought it was more grayish color, but it is a pretty bright blue in there. First grade, 100 acrylic. Okay, so it's saying that, so it is telling me on here that we would use a 3.5 to 4.5 millimeter knitting needle. Usually you tend to size up 1 for crochet. I would, I don't know. This isn't as bulky as the last one. I definitely think this is like a 3-4 weight. I would say 4 because you do have that halo, but it's definitely not as thick as the last one was. So let's dive in here. Not sure the yardage on this guy. Whoop. Not too bad. Okay. Yeah, as we are pulling this out, I definitely think that is a 4 weights. You could see the nice halo that's there. Let's go with this. Already some inconsistencies. Look at that. It did say anti pilling acrylic. I don't know if I believe that. Maybe it is the acrylic part that's anti-pilling, but you're definitely going to get some stuff with this. Yeah, looking at the screen now, it definitely looked more cornflower blue online. This is very much a green. Okay, so grab a 5.5 millimeter here. I think that's a good size for this. I take back what I said about this being softer. It's really not softer than the last acrylic. At first touch it was, but working with it, absolutely not. It's a lot smoother than I thought it would be. I don't know. Working it up, I felt like it was going to be pretty rough, but other than me not going into the right chain, it is working up really smoothly. I don't know if you can see this. You are shedding. This is shedding like a lot of that blue fiber that is woven in. So I am not a fan of that. So honestly, the texture of this, as I'm working it up, I feel like part of it feels more woolly than alpaca. Because you do have some of, it's not like itchy, like true strong wool, but it has a little bit of that unpleasantness. I know some people love the feel of natural wool. I love like merino wool and, other things. If it's really, I don't like the scratchy wool. Well, that's what I am not a fan of because it does make me itch. All right. So yeah, color was a very, very deceiving. I think this is the first one where the color was extremely deceiving online. Look at all of that halo. That is a insane amount of halo. I don't like how, yeah, get lots of little bits here. Would I buy this yarn again? No, I really wouldn't. This is my first like flat out just no. It's it's okay, but there's so many better options. So yeah, and we do have a little bit of snagging. It's that halo. That is what is snagging and dropping. So very sheddy. Not a big fan. And again, it's that halo. I believe I'll probably make a lot of hats out of this. I feel like this would be good hats to send to someplace that is really, really cold and they just need that added warmth. Good masculine color. I mean, it's an any color, but oftentimes it's harder to find, or I just don't buy as much masculine colors, which, men need warm hats too. So, yeah, I wouldn't buy this again. And Next up, we have some more acrylic. Ooh. I try to find as much acrylic as possible. I love the natural fibers, but often people are looking for cheap acrylic for projects, so that's kind of what I was trying to find. Give me online this or on the app. This is 100% acrylic. Lots of pretty variegated colors. Not very big, 48 grams each. That says this is a 5 weight. This is not a 5 weight. I'm sorry. Nope, not a 5 weight. 4.5 to 5.5 millimeter. 232 yards each. I can see that. Yeah, this is not a bulky weight. Definitely not a bulky weight. We will still use the 5.5 millimeter to test it out, though. It is pretty soft. I will give it that. It is very soft. I do like the different shades of purple as well in this. So I actually changed my mind. I think I'm going to use a 5 millimeter hook on this, just because I don't care what they say. Bulky. This is. Well, it's not a bulky. We'll just switch places with that one acrylic in this. That was bulky. This is the 4 weight. It has trying to figure out what kind of yarn it reminds me of. This is softer than Red Heart. I will give it that. I don't know. I feel like I have worked with a yarn that has this texture, and I can't think of it. You know what kind of texture it's giving, actually? This might sound really bizarre. It's giving kind of terry cloth. It even kind of looks like it. Can you follow me on that? I feel like it's a little terry cloth like. You know what's so funny? I started this row with a half double, and then I went into double, so my bad. Really, really soft yarn. I'm really a fan of this one. I am very pleasantly surprised. Would I buy this one again? Yeah, I think I would. I don't know if it's the best in a monetary, like, for value. I don't know if the value is the best. Because for that much yardage, you can get something somewhere else. I do like the feel of it, though. It's very nice. And no surprise, frogs like a dream. So buy this again? Yes. Realistically, will I buy it again? No. I might make some fun hats out of this. This also might make some fun granny squares for a smaller project. If they had more solid colors, I would say this is probably good amigurumi yarn. But again, I don't do a lot of amigurumi, so I can't be a true judge of that. But I like this yarn. I don't have any complaints about it. Next up, we have yak wool. It says it is 25% yak wool, 50% wool, 25% acrylic fiber. It is looking pretty bulky in there. So let's play what we found on the internet or on the website. Probably were interesting names. This is white lime segment. Ooh, yeah, this is definitely not the softest. It definitely has a lot of bounciness to it. The colors are pretty limited. I feel like most of them are a little bit darker colors. Interesting. I've never had yak wool, so I just wanted to give it a shot. Like this person said, I would rate it as a 5, and I think it's like a thick 4. I could call it a 5. Somebody else said DK. Not DK. Not DK. Definitely at least worsted. Let's try this out here. No description on how much yardage there is. I cannot read that, else I would tell you. Dry clean only. Dry in the shade. Interesting. This definitely feels like I can feel the 50% wool. I've never touched yak wool, so I can't talk to that, but I can definitely feel like the wool, like straight wool. I feel like this is softer than that second baby alpaca. Got a decent halo to it. Okay, we're gonna try 5.5mm. Actually, no. We're gonna go 6 on this one. Yeah, you know what? On further reflection, I would call this bulky. I believe it is a bulky weight. Pleasantly surprised. It's not my favorite feel of wool. However, it's not unpleasant. This yarn just reminds me, it's gonna sound so funny. This one reminds me like more of a sheep. Yes, I know wool, sheep, blah, but it just feels like more pillowy, and I feel like this texture is more of like kind of what you get when you touch a sheep. Does that make sense? But not in an unpleasant way, because many, sheep don't feel the best before their wool is worked up. But I am not mad at this one. So definitely a bulky weight. I like the blue actually. I don't know how that's showing up. But I really do like that subtle blue. Would I buy this again? Personally, no. I feel like there's some more better options. However, I'm not mad at it, and I wouldn't mind buying it. Like, I wouldn't object to never buying it again. I just personally can't think of a lot of projects I would use this feel for, but like definitely squish. Yeah, I really pleasantly, seriously, Temu is shocking me left and right. A little bit of give, but oh my gosh, that one didn't go at the end. This I definitely am going to be making a hat. Actually, I might keep this hat. I feel like it would be really warm. I love how squishy it is. Yeah, I'm happy with this one actually. If there were more color options, I mean, there's a decent amount, but yeah, if there were more color options, I might grab several of them. This would be a good, like, oversized cowl. So cushy. All right, next up we have this lovely spring yarn. I am excited about this one. I'm excited about all of them. Okay, let's be honest. So going off of here, 490 grams. There are 29 different colors. They're all variegated, so, take your pick. Oh, feels weird. I was just expecting like acrylic, but when something feels wet, but it's not wet? That's what it feels like. So 100% acrylic. It did say approximately 200 meters per thing, per skein. Let's see. What? Sorry, they're rolling all over the place. I love skin friendly. Doesn't feel like, okay, as I'm getting into it, it doesn't feel that bad. I would say maybe like a light worsted, thicker 3. This is a little bit different than a normal strand like you find. So pulling out my handy dandy big twist, you can see the twist. Well, big twist. You can see the strings themselves. This is more, I don't know, I kind of like earlier, I'm calling it terry cloth kind of feel, but it's not. Oh, what is that yarn? Is it, it's a caron cake. I don't know which caron cake, but it is very similar to this. God, I can't remember what caron cake it is. But one of their varieties has yarn very similar to this. So, all right, let's dive in. I am going to try, I'm going to go with a 5mm on this one. We'll see how it goes. Pleasantly surprised by how vibrant the colors are. I'm actually pleasantly surprised because online it looked more like green, yellow colors, which I don't object to. However, this is more this really pretty, like, oh, come on, teal, like this spring teal. I guess you kind of get a little bit of the green when you're mixing the colors. Amazing, blue and yellow make green. So that's probably why. So this yarn does actually end up splitting a little bit more than I thought it would at the very beginning. It was very deceptive. It doesn't split horribly. Not that I would stop using this. I actually feel like this would be really great for a baby blanket. The colors, the final makeup of it, actually very, again, Temu. I freaking sound like I sound like a broken record. I am being very pleasantly surprised by most of this yarn. All right. And no surprise with that kind of yarn, it is literally woof, like butter again. Just super, super sleek. All right, this yarn. Would I buy this yarn again? Yes, actually. Depending on, you know, if I want a different kind of variegated yarn, then it would be worth it. I feel like I have a lot of variegated yarn, so it's if I was looking for something in particular. This is also like the benefit of seeing it in picture versus in person, because again, in the picture, it totally looked more green. There's a little bit of blue, but this is way more blue. And I don't even know if the camera is picking up to the true like aqua shade that it is. Again, I'd buy this yarn again. Oh, okay. I do see here something unpleasant. We have a nice little knot. Ugh. But you see that with every yarn, right? Now, speaking of yarn that you don't really know the color of till you see it in person, enter this mohair. As you can see here on the screen, it definitely looked more sagey. Yaw green is what it's called. This is very aqua. Very, very aqua. Okay, color range, not like amazing. In case you couldn't tell, I let Aurora up, so she is blasting her presence to the world. 30% mahai, I'm assuming that's mohair, and 20% wool, anti-peeling fiber. So definitely not a lot of information to be had on the website. I mean, if you've worked with this kind of yarn, you can already assume this is lace weight yarn. And yes, yes indeed. This yarn is meant to be held double with, I mean, you can do it by yourself, or by itself, but that is not what I would like to do. I feel like that would take forever and my hands would hurt. Unless you want, like, you know, a really airy, pretty shawl. That's great. So what I was meaning was I actually thought that this color, which again appeared to be a sagey green, would actually look really great with this sagey green alpaca yarn. Not even remotely close. No, I mean, you can still put it together. It would look pretty cool, but yeah, that is absolutely not as matchy as it appeared online. All right, so I'll work up a little bit of this. I don't feel like I need to do too much depth with mohair. Um, simply, actually, you know what? Forgive me. I'm not working this up. This is a yarn I don't feel like I need to work up. So we're just gonna, show it off. Look at the pretty halo, the pretty strands. I will absolutely hold this double with something. Make it into, again, a pretty scarf or something. This probably is enough to do like a shirt out of, held double, but I am okay without that. Yeah. Would I buy this again? No, not at all. For this kind of product, I would rather just go to like Hobie or um, even, I mean, indie dyers do Surrey and mohair and things like that. But if you want just kind of like a cheap alternative, I would definitely go and use Hobie's because theirs is definitely a little better. Now, I didn't say anything but it feels okay. Um, not the softest. It really feels more acrylic-y than mohair-ish. So take that as you will. Again, would I wear this again? No, I really wouldn't. Bear with me, guys. We are 3 away from finishing. I told you I bought so much yarn. Here we have another cashmere. However, this cashmere is 98% cashmere, 2% polyester. And it also came with some thread. So let's open it up, see what we have online. This one had a lot of colors. Lots of pretty shades. And I love that they all came with this thread, which, okay, is my cashmere knowledge limited? Absolutely. So I'm not quite sure why it has this, but I will hold it double while I make something. So here it is saying it's 50 grams. It's about 345 yards, as well as this is 345 yards. So you can put them together and they do, work out the way they're supposed to. Zooming in on this color, this has some depth and dimension to it. I am very pleasantly surprised. I don't know if it's showing up super well, but you have this really pretty like peacock blue and there's like a little bit of black running through it. Really gorgeous. This one says pure cashmere, stretch slim, 98, 2%, yep, 50 grams. All right, so let's try her out. Oh, okay. First of all, this cashmere, hands down, like the other cashmere did not, like it doesn't even compete. This is very soft. This one I definitely believe is a bit more true cashmere. All right, let's maybe just pull from the outside. I don't want to make a big mess. All right, seems to be about the same thickness as the other. This is very much a one weight and very much a light one weight. So holding it, let's see here. I don't want to, oh, there's some thread. So holding this together would add just a little bit more stability to it. There's not a lot of stretch to it, but really, really, oh gosh, I cannot get over this color. Again, I don't know if this is showing as well on the camera, but it is such a pretty peacock blue, just luxurious, and it feels so soft. Again, we are going to work up. This time I think I will use a 4mm, just to size up a little bit here. I am fully expecting this ooh, to be as nice as the other one was. So this one I did buy, oh, sizing up is a good choice, with a purpose, was, you know, to see how the two cashmeres relate, like compared to each other. But also, my mom is very sensitive to fibers, especially as she's gotten older. My grandma was that way, and she just, certain fibers drive her crazy. And so I don't get to make her a lot of things because even superwash merino doesn't feel nice to her. I mean, it feels nice, but if she were to wear it, she just can't. So definitely hoping that this will be nice enough to make her a very fancy little something or another. Okay, I'm not going to go much further because while this is a nicer hook in a bigger size, it's almost too big. You get a lot of this. So let's put her down. But you can see does work up nice, and this does actually come apart so much better than the other one did. So other cashmere I said I would buy again. However, having now discovered this cashmere, I'm buying this every day. Now, do you get this for the same price as the other? No, the other one came in a 6-pack. This comes in one, and it's again with the thread, but this is so much softer. So if you're looking for like a cheap cashmere, this one. Actually, it's very tempting to go and grab another one. I do have a credit on there because some of these showed up late. So if they fall, a little bit about Temu if you don't know, if they fall outside of their business or their delivery window, you automatically get a $5 credit. And this actually arrived the day after, so I got a $5 credit, and I have this pretty card. So I actually might go on and grab another one and then just hold them double. And that might be, that's 3. Yeah, hold double. I just might do that. Okay, guys, seriously, this is the one. All right. This one makes me feel a little bit guilty, but I felt like I had to, in fairness, give it a shot. This is hand-dyed yarn, natural and hand-dyed yarn. So help dyeing hand-dyed yarn. I know that translation into English sometimes doesn't really work, just as I'm sure, you know, us speaking other languages, sometimes it doesn't translate well, but I always do get a kick out of these things. All right, showing up on screen. So this is a 3-piece sock weight, so 1 weight. Very limited on colors, but the price, oh, golf. Sorry, definitely not. Oh, it does not feel the greatest. Not surprised. Was not going in expecting it to be great. I liked the colors. They are definitely not as vibrant in person as they are online. And again, I love that they give the measurements of this, not other stuff. All right. So what was interesting about this one is that it's 52% wool, merino wool in this case, 10% cashmere, 38% polyester, which I thought was a really interesting blend. Usually, like the percentages are a little different. It says 270 meters, and interesting. Typically, for sock yarn like this, you're getting like 400 yards. Okay. Recommended sweater needle, 3.5. It's probably like a 4. Now I'm not, this will be a little bit weird of a trial just because I'm not going to go wind it up on my ball winder or on my, sorry, my Swift and my winder. But no dyed wool yarn, but it is hand dyed. So a little confusing. This definitely does not have the feel of merino wool. This, it's definitely a bit more, not scratchy, but a bit more rough. Which with polyester and cashmere in there, I would not expect that, because I do have a cashmere blend yarn that I've received or bought from local dyers, indie dyers before, and it definitely feels a lot nicer. Interesting with this though. This, again, was I expecting this to be as nice a quality as getting from an indie dyer? Not at all, but this kind of surprises me a little bit. Yeah, it is not the softest yarn. Again, cashmere blend, I would expect, even just 10% cashmere, I would expect it to be a little bit more interesting. Yeah. I like the colors. Again, they were a little bit more vibrant, I feel like, in the picture. But 100% would, I mean, I haven't even crocheted with it, but 100% would not buy this again. 100% would go to an indie dyer and get the same kind of blend from them, because I know that it's going to be a whole lot softer. Trying to debate if I even want to attempt crocheting with this, or I don't want to mess it up and deal with that. Maybe in another video I'll wind it up and do it, but I don't want to wind things up if I'm not going to do a project with them, because that does mess with the elasticity of the yarn. But I don't feel like this has a lot of elasticity. Yeah, this is not merino blend. I'm sorry, this is definitely more of a scratchy feel to it. You can, let's pull it up here. I feel like you can kind of see that. Yeah. And also, I don't know if this is a 1 weight. I would maybe call it a 2 weight, more of a sport weight. Yeah, I feel like this is more of a heavy 1, light 2. Yeah, would not buy this yarn again. And I apologize to the indie dyers I buy from. I promise this was all in the name of checking out different yarn on Temu. So that's to quote someone very famous, it's a no for me, dog. Okay, side note, I was just winding it up and I took a sniff. It smells awful. And yep, I get things that maybe been in plastic, it's been in a warehouse, but it doesn't smell great. It is time for the last yarn, and honestly, I've been holding on to this because I'm very excited about this. This is squirrel yarn. Okay, it's not made from squirrel fur, don't worry. But the name implies, and on the website it says, it's made to be as soft as a squirrel. Oh my gosh, I just love it. I love it so much. All right, let me open it while we take a gander. Definitely not as vibrant as it is online, and it does look like it fades a little bit more. Must have been the angle of the lighting. The names are really weird. This is purple camel, but you have like deep meat powder, which is disturbing. A lot of people seem to go back to this. They really like it. This is 100% polyester yarn. Oh, interesting. And it feels like it. Not necessarily in a bad way, but not like in the best way. It warms the heart. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I love these descriptions. Uniform lines. Anyway, sorry. I love these descriptions. So came in a 5-pack, and it doesn't really give like yardage. Well, I guess, it helps if I look in the back here. So we have dry clean only. and carefully selected quality material process. All right, so we don't know the yardage. Is this as soft as a squirrel? Okay, I've never touched a squirrel, so I really can't give that comparison a yes or no. If you've touched a squirrel, please buy this yarn. Let us know if it actually feels like a squirrel. Very, very halo-y. You can see super, super halo. It is, like you can see, it is very squish. It is extremely squishy. I would definitely classify this as a 4-weight or a bulky weight. Usually they will give bulky weights that if it is a 4-weight with a halo, and it is indeed a 4-weight with a lot of halo. So that would be my guess here. All right. I am definitely going to make a prediction here and guess that this does not frog as well as some of the other ones do to the halo effect. So for this, I think I'm going to go with the 6 again. I feel like I bought a lot more thinner yarns, but now that they've all arrived, clearly I did not. All right. A little too close there. All right, going into it. Working up surprisingly well. Ooh, working up fast. All right. Is this the softest yarn? No, like it has a great squish factor. I don't believe it's super, super soft. Somebody might have a different opinion, but if it was super soft, you would have heard me like gasp out of like, you know, happiness when I open it. All right. And continuing on with our theme today, I am pleasantly surprised. Wow. I did not go into this video thinking that I would be a fan of this many skeins and this many types of yarn, but here we are. Again, much lighter than it was in the picture, but like it's not bad. Softest? No, definitely not the softest, but it is definitely not bad. Let's see if my prediction comes true. I am worried with this much halo that it's going to be quite a beast to frog. So let's zoom out a little bit here and see. Oh, no. Okay. There is definitely a little bit of snag, which honestly, if you have a halo with a yarn, you're just going to get it. That's just the way it is. Oh, I gotta pull a little bit harder. So easiest to frog, no, and I totally called that. However, all things considering, squirrel yarn might have converted me. I kind of want to go get more colors of it. Way to go, Temu. Way to go. Okay, really quick. These are a few yarn related things that are not yarn. I got this 5-pack of scissors. These are great. They fold up like that. Really, really handy to have. I'm constantly losing scissors and I like having them in multiple places. Doing this part of these scissors always makes me nervous and I go, so there you go. Makes me nervous because I'm always afraid it's going to do something like that or stab me. So definitely go slow, but I think they're cute because they kind of look like little glasses. Another purchase. I have never seen these and I'm genuinely curious. When you are doing color work and you have multiple strands, the point of this, I don't know, oh, I guess it kind of, well, put it on the finger you put it on, is to put multiple strands and then close it. Oh, it actually is pretty secure there. But that way, as you are whether knitting or crocheting, you have different yarn in each of these sections, so it's a little bit easier to keep them separate and not be so chaotic. Again, I have never seen these before. I saw this on somebody else's video and I was like, I gotta try this. And then actually, when I was doing another video at a craft store, I noticed that they had some of these. So very excited to try this out. I don't have any big color work projects happening right now, but I have so many that I need to get to. So I like that there is 2 of each color. So I definitely have enough if like, I mean, it is plastic, so if it breaks, but yeah, it's actually in there pretty good. So I am excited to try those out. And then final thing, I was searching for one other free gift from Temu, and I spotted these. So it came in a pack of 4. They're not very big, but they are the bottom of bags. And I like that they have like the holes already, so you can, just start your project. They came in multiple colors. I don't make handbags. I don't really make any bags, but I figured this might be a fun little thing to try out. And honestly, I thought this would be a really good little project bag. Kind of, I'm always like, if I make a bag, it's a project bag. But I could make it like extra wide. So, but then it'll still have like a solid, like flat base. I don't know. These aren't normally things I buy. I don't like that that one is, I don't know if you can see that there, but that one is miscolored. Bleh. But I thought I would give it a go. Okay, so overall conclusion. Again, to sound like a broken record, I was very pleasantly surprised by most of the yarn. There were only a few that I would not purchase, like flat out not purchase again. There were many that I didn't really have a purpose for it, so I might not do it in the future. But there were quite a few that I could see myself purchasing again. Who knew? Okay. So hopefully you've had some fun going through this yarn with me and seeing what's out there. I barely scratched the surface for the yarn that's at Temu. I really try to grab the ones that I constantly see popping up when I go into the app. Now, I don't go into the app often. I usually order stuff, I delete it, and then an ad gets me, good job marketing, and then I'll download it and I'll make an order, get the order, delete it for a couple months. It's a cycle. But I seem whenever I go in there to see the same kind of yarns. And I'm glad that I was finally able to purchase some of them and check them out. I promise I'm done. Okay. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help me out. If you haven't subscribed, words are hard. Consider subscribing because that really helps out my channel. And I still can't believe that there's this many people that watch me. So thank you so much from a very humble and honestly surprised me. So I hope you have a good night, good day, good afternoon, good morning, whatever it is. And I will catch you in the next video. Bye.